There comes a moment when the world feels like it's spinning too fast and too loud for you to keep up. A moment when your dreams seem buried under the noise of opinions, rejections, and comparisons. That moment is not your defeat, it's your awakening. You see, life is not about running in someone else's race or trying to fit in shoes that were never meant to carry your journey. Life is about learning to pause, breathe, and look inward. Because the most beautiful revolutions begin in silence when you decide, I will focus on me, for me, until I become the version of myself that no longer seeks validation to feel worthy. And yes, the world may not clap for you while you're growing. They may not see the nights you cried silently or the mornings you rose anyway. But hear me when I say, the seed does not bloom with applause, it blooms in darkness, and so will you. This is your time, not to prove, not to chase, but to focus on you until you win. Your healing is your responsibility, not your fault. There is a sacred kind of pain that lives in silence, the type that lingers not on your skin, but in the quiet chambers of your heart. This pain doesn't scream. It simply sits there, waiting for you to notice its weight. And when you do, it doesn't ask for blame, it asks for acknowledgement. It's tempting to point fingers at those who hurt you, to sit in the shadows and wait for them to come back and apologize. But what if they never do? What if they sleep peacefully while you carry the storm they created inside you? Healing is not justice for the past, it is freedom for the future. It's the way you reclaim yourself after being broken, not by pretending nothing happened, but by saying, even if it did, I will still rise. No one is coming to rescue you from the pain that wasn't your choice. And while that may feel cruel, it's also the most empowering truth because it means you hold the key to your peace, not them. There is power in waking up one morning and deciding you will not let the people who wounded you continue to narrate your story. You become the author when you stop being the victim. Healing does not mean you forget. It means you no longer allow the memory to define your worth or dictate your next step. You no longer wear your scars as chains, you wear them as armor. You are allowed to mourn what happened. You are allowed to grieve the innocence lost, but you are not meant to live there forever. Your soul is not a cemetery, it is a garden waiting to bloom again. Every tear that fell without comfort, every night you held yourself while the world slept, those moments were not empty. They were proof that you were already healing, quietly, courageously. The path to healing is not linear. Some days you'll feel strong, other days you'll fall apart. Both are part of the journey. Do not measure your progress by your pain. Measure it by your persistence. There will be moments when you want to go back to the familiar hurt, because healing asks you to be brave in unfamiliar ways. But remember, comfort isn't always safe, and wounds that stay open become identities. Choose instead to be gentle with yourself. Speak to yourself the way you wish others had spoken to you in your darkest hour. Let your inner voice become your source of light. You don't need to justify your healing to anyone. You don't need them to understand your boundaries, your tears, or your silence. Healing is a sacred contract between you and your soul. Some people will not recognize your healing as strength because they are used to your brokenness. That is not your burden to carry. You were not made to live small for their comfort. Let go of the illusion that closure comes from others. Closure is not a conversation. It is a decision to choose peace even when no apology was offered. And if you must walk this path alone, let it be the most beautiful solitude, where you meet the parts of yourself that always deserved your love but never received it. Silence isn't weakness, it's power turning inward. We are often taught that strength is loud, visible, undeniable, that it has to announce itself to the world to matter. But what if true power doesn't roar? What if it whispers, waits, and watches? Silence has a bad reputation in a world that thrives on noise. But the deepest healing, the truest revelations, and the strongest decisions are often made in moments of quiet reflection. When you go inward, when you stop explaining, defending, and proving, something beautiful happens. You begin to hear the sound of your own truth. Silence isn't absence. It's presence in its purest form. It's where the soul finally speaks without interruption and your spirit remembers who it was before the world told it who to be. There's a kind of wisdom that only silence can give. The kind that doesn't need to shout back at insults or respond to misunderstandings. It simply knows, and that knowing is enough. There comes a point when you no longer have the energy to argue for your worth. You simply become it. You stop chasing validation and start honoring your voice. Some people will confuse your silence for weakness, for guilt, for surrender. Let them. Your power is not for their understanding, it is for your becoming. Focusing on yourself means mastering the art of retreat, not as a form of escape, but as a form of restoration. Like the moon, you don't always need to be full to be powerful. In your silence, you will learn that not everything deserves your reaction. You'll discover that peace is louder than noise, and stillness is not stagnation, it's strategy. The world may never teach you how to be silent. It wants you reactive, distracted, depleted. But your silence is your rebellion, your refusal to lose yourself in the noise. Every time you choose not to explain yourself, you are reclaiming your narrative. Every time you walk away from drama, you are protecting your energy. That is power. When you stop speaking, you start listening to your breath, to your intuition, to the quiet voice that says, you are enough as you are without the applause. Silence is not loneliness. It is intimacy with yourself. It is the beginning of emotional fluency, where you finally understand the language of your heart. There is a soft strength in being quiet that no volume can replicate. The kind of strength that says, I am not here to be seen, I am here to be whole. And in that wholeness, your silence becomes a song that only the healed version of you will know how to sing. Growth is painful, but so is staying stuck. We often think of pain as something to avoid, something bad. But growth introduces a different kind of pain that breaks open the shell of who you were to reveal who you were always meant to be. You will never be the same after you choose growth. That's the cost of evolution. You have to let go of comfort, familiarity, and sometimes even parts of your identity. The hardest part isn't starting, it's continuing when everything in you wants to return to what's easy. Growth doesn't just test your strength, it reveals it. Staying stuck feels safe because it's predictable. You know how the pain behaves, but that safety is a slow erosion of your soul. It chips away at your potential until you forget you ever had any. Growth feels like loss at first. Loss of people, routines, habits, and sometimes even dreams. But you are not losing, you are shedding, and shedding is necessary for flight. There will be days when you'll ask, why can't I just be content where I was? But deep down, you know staying small is not who you were created to be. Every painful step forward is a quiet revolution. You are rewriting the rules of your life, declaring that your future matters more than your past. Growth doesn't promise instant results, it only promises transformation. And transformation, though invisible at first, is always happening beneath the surface. You will outgrow people who once felt like home. You will outgrow beliefs that once brought you comfort. And though that feels like abandonment, it's actually alignment. Do not fear the discomfort. Fear the regret of a life half lived. Fear the silence of dreams abandoned for the sake of others' expectations. There is honor in choosing progress over perfection. There is bravery in showing up for yourself day after day, even when no one notices. And yes, growth is lonely, but solitude breeds clarity. It reminds you that you are capable of carrying your own weight and that your path doesn't need an audience to be meaningful. You were not designed to fit into spaces that ask you to shrink. You were meant to rise, stretch, and expand into the fullest expression of your being. The pain of transformation is temporary, but the beauty it births, that lasts forever. That becomes your legacy. And with each forward step, you leave behind not just the past, but the fear that once convinced you that you weren't worthy of more. Your win looks different, and that's your superpower. There's a quiet dignity in realizing that your definition of success doesn't have to match anyone else's. That the life you dream of may look simple to the world but sacred to you. We are conditioned to chase visible victorious titles, trophies, and timelines. But some of the most powerful wins are the ones that happen within. Winning may look like setting a boundary, like saying no when you used to say yes just to be liked, like walking away from chaos to protect your peace. Your win might be a morning where you get out of bed without dread, or a night where you finally sleep without tears. These moments deserve celebration. There is courage in choosing a life that doesn't impress others, but fulfills you, that nourishes your soul even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else. When you focus on you, you start to realize that you've been winning all along. Every moment you didn't give up, every tear you turned into a seed, every battle you fought silently and won. You don't need to broadcast your progress. Flowers don't announce they're blooming. They just don't, when the world eventually notices. Be proud of the way you kept going without applause, of how you healed without validation, of how you chose integrity when it would have been easier to conform. Sometimes the loudest victory is peace, not being triggered, not needing to explain, not craving recognition, just peace. Soft, quiet, holy peace. Your path is not a race. It's a dance between you and destiny. And the rhythm is yours alone to follow. There is no timeline for becoming. There is only your time. And when you embrace that truth, every small step becomes sacred. Others may not understand your win because they weren't called to walk your path. That's okay. They don't need to see it to believe it. You do. Winning doesn't always feel like a celebration. Sometimes it feels like relief, like stillness, like finally coming home to yourself after years of searching outside. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right on time for the life you were always meant to live. And as you walk toward that life step by step, with eyes focused inward and heart open wide, you begin to realize you were the victory all along. You owe it to yourself to become someone you can be proud of. Not someone perfect, not someone without scars, but someone who chose to show up for themselves even when no one else did. This is not about selfishness. It's about sacred self-prioritization. It's about understanding that the world does not need another person lost in the noise of pleasing everyone. It needs you, fully healed, fully present, and fully alive. You have every right to stop the cycle of self-abandonment, to pause, to rebuild, to pour into your own well until it overflows. You have every right to stop looking for your worth in other people's eyes and start recognizing the fire in your own reflection. This is your moment to declare that your life matters before the success, before the applause, before anyone else believes in you. Because the truth is, the greatest victory is not being liked, praised, or accepted by others. The greatest victory is waking up one day and realizing you finally like the person staring back at you in the mirror. You trust them, you love them, you are proud of who you've become. So stay focused, stay grounded, stay committed. Not to proving anything to anyone, but to healing everything within you. The world can wait, but your soul, your dreams, your peace, they've waited long enough. Focus on you until the healing begins. Focus on you until the noise fades. Focus on you until the pain no longer controls you. Focus on you until the light returns. Focus on you until you win. And even then, keep choosing you every single day.